it affected me because I didn't have a house, but I also didn't understand why it was impacting me so much.
The housing crisis affected everybody, including school districts, which get their money from the property values of homes.
I'm Ruth Ezell. Millions of Americans who lived through the mortgage crisis know you didn't have to be underwater with a subprime loan to feel the effects of the crisis. The 9 network of public media took a deep dive into the subject with its 2008 initiative, Facing the Mortgage Crisis, while we connected troubled homeowners with trusted resources to avoid foreclosure. 2 future employees of 9 were seniors in college. Molly Saunders studied to be a journalist. Andi Harpering was an aspiring teacher. But the Great Recession set their careers on a different path. I spoke to Saunders and Harpering about how the mortgage crisis and Great Recession touched their lives and the lessons they've learned from the past decade. We begin with Saunders' reflections.
I graduated and I was looking for a job to use the skills that I had learned throughout college and my internships, and that was a degree in journalism. And so not only was I entering a market where I couldn't find a newspaper job, but nobody was really hiring.
I graduated in 2009, which is when the economy really had a big slump, because that's when the effects of the housing crisis really went into effect as far as job searching and everybody's 401ks or pension. So we had teachers that were not retiring because they saw their pensions decrease quite a lot, so they decided to stay in the classroom longer.
I moved back home with my parents. Thank you, Mom and Dad. And it was actually wonderful to be with them, but I had to figure out how to, contribute. And so I got 3 different retail jobs and just tried to start saving because I was lucky enough to be able to live with my parents. I contributed as much as I could, by paying some rent and, making dinner every night. But while I was working those 3 jobs, I also was looking for, a real job.
I was lucky. I was able to get creative. I have a family support system, so I'm happy about that. But I was able to go into AmeriCorps for about 1.5 years, 2 years, instead of entering the workforce right after college.
I learned a lot about how important it is to pay attention to your personal finances for so many reasons. It's also it used to be easy to get a credit card, and it's not so easy anymore. And so someone like me who actually has really great credit, I actually still have to have a cosigner if I want to buy something big, simply because I actually don't own a credit card. And so even though, I've had really great experience with learning that I can only buy what I can afford. So if I don't have money in the bank, I'm not going to buy it. So I have great credit, but if I want to go out and buy a home, or if I want to buy a new car or anything big like that, I still have to have a cosigner right now, unless I want to go get a credit card. But even the credit card companies say, you can't have a credit card because you don't have any credit. So it's almost like the chicken and the egg kind of situation.
My husband and I were able to buy a house in around 2016. We were able to buy a house in St. Louis City. And so luckily, despite all of the evidence that shows that people who graduated in 09 or 10 are at a disadvantage for the rest of our lives, and that's just kind of the reality that we live with, we were able to buy a house in 2016. We look at our living situation as our living situation, not as an investment for the future. So when I hear people still talk about, oh, if you buy in this neighborhood, it's an investment, the home prices are increasing. I'm like, do you remember 2008? Because I do, and it was, a lot of people were saying that type of thing, like invest in your home, and that's how you're going to keep your money, and that's what's going to get you through your retirement, is having your equity in your home, which isn't untrue anymore. You do have equity in your home, but my husband and I definitely look at it more as instead of paying rent, we're paying our mortgage. We're not looking at it as this house is our retirement or anything like that.